I mean, with this in mind, even if Detonation doesn't do well at MSI, given that they are in objectively the hardest group, and that they have this issue where their coach is temporarily substituting in while they're waiting for one of their Korean players to become a resident, what is the expectation when they getting their support back for next split? Because they were able to win in Japan even with this substitution. So do you think there's a world where they win again, and at Worlds we see a roster that could potentially do significantly more damage in an international sense?
Yeah, so first off, the coach, Yang, is actually brothers with their support, Yang, which is a real coincidence / whatever that is. But yeah.
So wait a minute. You're telling me, unironically, in 2021, their names are the Yang Gang. That is actually the fucking name.
Yes.
Like, this is simulation.
Exactly what
Whoever the last one out of the simulation is, turn off the fucking light. I'm out. This is obviously not real. There's no way I'd be on a League of Legends talk show 10 years after the fact. It's all bullshit. I'm out. Get me out of the Matrix. Morpheus.
I was about to say, like, I've written like 3,000 words on this damn team because they're too storied, and basically at this point, you know, like the Matrix code filtering down. That's just me with various like DFM factlets at this point. But yeah, Gang is widely seen. Well, no, it's not even close. He is the best support in this region. He was contended with last year for the first time in a very long time by Reiner from V3. But yeah, so if he slots back into this roster, he's probably going to up this level again. The question is whether this team can take the experience that they have from this tournament and then build off of it rather than just like fall apart from getting crushed, because the LJL has never played a major region's first seed before, ever. And now they get to play two at once. That's huge. That's great, because V3 were a team that sorely lacked experience going into Worlds. They had some great players who are rookies or hadn't been to Worlds before. Like Boogie was on Flash Wars and went to MSI, never been to a World, so he had some international competition. Paz, the top laner, had been to a Rift Rivals and maybe one of the wildcard tournaments before. But they had a lot of rookies or first-time international performers on that team too, and they just played so nervously, and that really affected their play. And again, Sheepy, thank you for that, for killing our region. But looking at this team, most of their players have had international tenure before, besides Arya, who is arguably the most important player in their team to fill those shoes of Seros and to be that, that kind of control tower, that airport control in the mid lane, and just kind of direct the map and play whatever the team needs him to. To play against Perkz and Showmaker, that is huge for the LGL. And I mean, remember that conversation about how Perkz just like soloed out DeMonte with LeBlanc on it might have been even
basically subbed him.
Yeah. He just Perkz was coming into to NA, and he effectively was killing people in super aggressive ways that mid laners just thought, wait, how can you do that? You kind of need to get slapped by that on an international stage to bring that back to your region and then up your own level of play. And sometimes you need to have that several times, but even having it just the once is very important. Arya getting to face off against two of the best mids in the world is going to be invaluable for this guy. And hopefully what that means is that when we slot back into summer, get that the Exodia that DFM is trying to be, the left leg of the Forbidden One gang coming back into that support role, we're going to have a team that can actually have a shot at play-ins. We hoped V3 would be that last year. It absolutely didn't happen. They really fell apart. But DFM seemed to have the workings in place to one-up them.
So I'm curious, because I've never really understood this about why LJL isn't better, because at least in Asia, all of the regions can theoretically practice on the Korean server, on the Chinese server. And in theory, Japan is closer than, say, Taiwan to Korea, like a lot closer. So their ping should be very good to the Korean server. And they have these Korean players who are presumably playing on that server. So even if it's not common to play League of Legends in Japan, a very determined individual from Japan could practice significantly on the Korean server and so up their level. So why hasn't that resulted in, because it's resulted in LMS teams like being able to create big upsets. So like, why has Japan not followed suit with at least being competitive at an international level, given that their practice environment seems quite good?
Yeah.
Also, what is the ping?
What is the ping? So I think it's about 100 Korea.
That's a bit brutal.
Ooh, I thought it would be less than that.
Oh, it might be 80 or something like that.
Bearing in mind, people in Seoul are going to have like 8 ping, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, saying that, okay, apparently it's 45 to 60, so not unmanageable.
That makes sense. That's what I would have guessed.
So basically, NA players go to Japan, play Korean solo queue, then Golden Glue, you got it all wrong, mate. Go to Japan, dominate there, be the faker of LJL, then play on the solo queue, then come back.
We just mix and match. We just swap the LJL and give 3 spots to them at World or something.
Okay,
like
so yeah, tell us about the ladder aspect then.
Yeah, so well, I mean, there are players who reach Grandmaster into Challenger from Japan. Arya, for instance, was 1,000 LP Korean Challenger while playing in the LJL. He has
what a beast! On 100 ping. Even if it's 50, that's still pretty sick.
That's good.
He's absurd. And I mean, I've been watching some of the MSI solo queue, and this guy is winning lane against Showmaker. Yes, it's solo queue. Who really cares about that? But he's definitely got that mechanical brawn to take it to some of these high-level players. Ebby still have really high win rates in the US server right now compared to the rest of the pros. Most of the DFM pros are doing really well on the solo queue grind right now. But looking at the majority of the Japanese players, most of the region is still probably going to be stuck in High Diamond into Master rather than going into Grandmaster into Challenger. I'd say probably about half the region is probably stuck at that. Whereas your top teams will have Grandmasters into Challengers. I would say most of the time, your entirety of your DFM roster will be up in Grandmaster Challenger. Most of the other teams will have 1 or 2 members doing that at the same time. So it's not like they are non-competitive. And I do know that teams do scrim, the LJL teams do scrim against VCS and PCS. For instance, I know that V3 and DFM scrimmed Gum and Flash from the VCS last year. That's one of the reasons why we saw some of the picks kind of shared between them, the emphasis on Pantheon support back in 2020. Both of them pulled out very similar lane swaps around that summer split. So you could see some of the influence there. We heard some more negative things about how a lot of the LJL teams were losing against bottom tier PCS teams back in spring. But they do have those contacts, and they do end up sharing a bit of practice time with them. I don't really understand why they aren't better myself. Again, part of that for me is why so many. Part of that for me is because so many of these players come and go so quickly. They don't really get to put down their roots. They don't really get to share those lessons and keep themselves around to raise the level of the region. They just kind of do their shift and then leave.
It's just fascinating to me because I've always wondered about that, because it seems like from a cultural perspective and from an infrastructure perspective, like the LJL has decent broadcasts, right? I mean, it's always, and they have decent salaries, and like I said, the Japanese don't half-ass things as a culture. And so it seems like you'd have some very determined individuals there who, even if they couldn't find competition locally, there is competition that they can gain from just playing on the Korean server, which is a huge advantage, right? Compared to LCS, which is just their NA is just stuck on their own garbage server the entire time. So
plus, if they're such a disciplined people, you'd think they'd love League of Legends. It's all about macro and stuff. Instead, they're just playing those little kids button bashers where there's not even any skill to them. I always just say that, by the way. I know they're not. I do that to trigger the FGC people because they're so easily triggered.
They are so easily triggered.
League isn't a gacha game. That's where they're going wrong. It's not a gacha game.
There you go.
They had that.
There you go.
Sorry, it's not too late for Wild Rift, as you said before.
Well, they already added in the damn one support skin, which is based off of his gacha game character. So, it's heading there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, I feel like that gives us a really good basis to watch LJL. At this tournament, I have renewed appreciation for some of this. I'm very curious about Arya now because I've never seen him play, nor even heard of him. So you've done a very good job of hyping him up.
I mean, in my opinion, he is probably the best wildcard player out there. I mean, given the fact that he's not like a one-trick pony. He's got multiple strings on his bow. He plays literally everything and does well at everything. I mean, I think one of the telling stats to me, because a friend of mine called Zyrathenia ran some stats for me, and he effectively just one-ups the DPS chart on each champion to the next one. So his Seraphine will do as much as another person's Syndra, based on average. His Orianna will do as much damage as another person's Lucian. He just tends to do more than the average of the champion across the major and wildcard regions. He's just very, very efficient at whatever role he needs to do, which is also what really gives me hope for DFM in terms of adapting to a tournament meta, not just because DFM have typically been pretty good at adapting in region between patches, but the fact that the champion pool for each player, and then you're very good across all of those champions, it feels like they're a very pliable team in whatever way you want to play. So what I'm hoping is that they don't get dumpstered in the first round robin. They manage to pick up one win versus Infinity or something like that, and come back for the second round robin, adapt better, and use their champion pools and come back stronger and try and snipe some wins off of C9.
Do you want to be bold and tell us a player who could actually comparably go head to head with, for example, the problem with C9 is they have perks, so people are going to not really hear the hype about Arya. Is there another player on the team who could maybe go head to head with his counterpart on C9?
Oh, I think Ari could go head-to-heads with Perks. I
There
genuinely
we
think he
go.
could if he comes in.
There you
He
go.
genuinely
Okay.
could. But the question is if he's going to have the rookie problem. But besides that, there's the fudge factor for C9 because Ebby has been a very good top laner at abusing early lane for a very long time. In fact, there's kind of a technique you use in top lane where you just kind of bully someone off the first wave, and even though you miss CS, they miss CS and the XP. Ebby has this really weird stat where he has the lowest CSD at 10, CS per minute at like 6.7 out of top laners, the highest CSD at 10 because he will just lose all his farm, but then make sure you deny more. I think that if Fudge comes in and isn't very
weird.
well connected, I mean, there was one game last year where he was playing Set versus this poor guy Urnyan's Mordekaiser, and he made him go down 60 CS. He had 60 CS before he had touched a single CS. This guy's really good at using the first waves of the game, like very Season 2, 3 top laner kind of style, where you just like play as though the jungler wasn't there. And if Fudge is not very well connected with Blabber, there is a chance that Ebby top diffs. There is a chance, but he's also known for kind of being a bit of an idiot at times too, and dying randomly level 5 to level 6. But yeah, so I think the solo lanes for DFM is where you're really looking at for strength.
Well, I have to say I'm very impressed because you not only have set reasonable expectations, you've hyped up some players where I really want to watch them now, and I think most ingeniously of all, you've set up a scenario where I want to watch some LJL games next split just to see how good they're going to be once they actually get the new support into the roster, which also means that people will see your casting. So, this has been a very eloquent and setup that you've got going here.
By the way,
this
is how ridiculous League of Legends is. An LJL team is going to have 3 Koreans before fucking TSM ever managed to get them. Like, all right, mate. Reginald, you're just garbage at this, mate. Like, I'd go back to missing Malzults or whatever you were doing pre-season once. That was more your fucking cup of tea. That TF. Tell you what, come back and play. TF, you this shit, mate. Blue card, gone.
Ignite a minion.
There you go.
All right, so Nymera, let's have you pimp yourself out right now. So where people can find you, where you're casting LJL currently, because as I said, you've done a very good job of setting people's expectations and probably wanting to come back and check out some games.
Yeah, so you can find me at Nymera on Twitter. Good luck trying to spell that, but I'm sure it's somewhere in the show notes. I obviously don't.
It's on your screen right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, if you have trouble reading, then go find it somewhere else. But I don't cast it alone. I cast it with Mass Swan and Initialize. Initialize is my brother, and Mass Swan is a mutual friend of ours, and we've done this for 2 years. Put a lot of work into it, and it's been really good. I also cast a lot of university scene in the UK, which has been good fun.
What stream is the LJL on?
The LJL stream is on LJL officially unofficial, but there's underscores between each one because we like to be inconvenient like that. But you can find us also on Twitter at LJL unofficial.